Hey, what's happening, guys? How are you doing? Welcome back to Rule of Two Review. So what I wanted to do today was something similar to what I did last weekend, where I made a video that was really just more of like a personal story and a personal chat from me to you guys, discussing my history as a gamer and my history as a Nintendo fan, how I got so into the hobby and how I became so attached to Nintendo specifically, and just like I said, my little personal story about all things gaming about Rob. And there's another topic that I've been wanting to discuss as well, and I wasn't quite sure when it made sense to do it. But when I posted that video last week, you guys responded so positively to that. I mean, more than I expected. I wasn't sure if it was even going to be an interesting topic, and it definitely got, you know, a good amount of views for what I'm used to on my channel. And you guys all reacted positively. Everyone was sharing their own stories about how you guys became gamers or Nintendo fans or what have you, which was really so cool to see. And so through that, I've had another topic brewing in my head the past couple of months, actually. And something that I've been wondering, does it make sense to also make a video about this topic? It's just really just a personal thing. It's not about news. It's not about a video game company or a game title or Nintendo or even Star Wars or anything. It's really just about my feeling about something gaming related. And I wasn't quite sure when it made sense to do it, but after last weekend's video doing so well, I was like, you know, maybe it's time to just talk about this. I feel like it's relevant now, and it's a little bit weird to talk about this topic literally the night before Super Mario Odyssey launches. I mean, I will come home from work tomorrow, and that game will be waiting for me to pop into my Switch and play, and I cannot wait. But it's weird because it's like counterpoint to the topic, but the topic is still relevant, so I was like, let's just do it. So all cards on the table, this topic and this personal story for me isn't the same kind of like happy-go-lucky fun thing that the last one was. It's not overly negative either. It's just very, very different. You can obviously tell by the title of the video. So what I'm talking about is a weird problem that I'm having with gaming right now. And what you might be a little bit confused by is the fact that it's not so much with the gaming industry or with video games that are releasing now. It's not that kind of dramatic thing. I'll let you guys know right here near the beginning of the video that this isn't about a dramatic thing and I'm mad at this company or this person or whatever about a game. It's just about me. I'm having a struggle with gaming right now. And that struggle is that I'm finding it harder and harder to really have time to play a lot of video games or even be motivated to spend a lot of time playing video games. Now here's the tricky thing with all this. This isn't me necessarily saying that I'm not enjoying video games anymore or that I'm not enjoying the hobby or the culture and the community of gaming, because that's absolutely not the case. I love video games and gaming and Nintendo and Metroid and all these things just as much as I ever have. I mean, that's been the really cool thing with the Switch coming out and being so exciting and such a big success with so many amazing games. It would kind of be silly of me to feel that way. I mean, at least I think, and luckily that's not the case. So what's odd about my struggle is I don't have any problems with gaming, and I'm not finding myself like, you know, some people obviously go through this period in their life, maybe where it's like, oh, I'm getting older, or my life is changing, my responsibilities are changing, and I just don't really care about games like I did when I was younger. I'm just less interested. It's weird because that's not the case. I'm just as interested. I mean, I even still run this YouTube channel because I care about gaming and talking about it as much as I ever have. So my struggle isn't my interest level. It's just the fact that gaming takes up just a weird amount of time. And I want to have the time to do it, but it is hard to do. And that's a natural thing as you get older and have more adult responsibilities. And I've had that for a very long time. I mean, like I said in that video, I am fairly old. I turned 37 only just very recently. And I've had adult jobs and responsibilities for many years. My current career and my current company has been going for over 5, almost 6 years. And throughout this whole time, I've been able to still find time to be able to game and do this whole thing. But there's no doubt that right now, with what's even happening with my current job and career, it's all bustling. It's all going extremely well. And I'm getting busier and busier with it because I'm getting more responsibilities and all these good things. It's a typically evolving career. And with that comes more time working, more time at the office, less free time to do those sorts of fun things. And I'm definitely running into that issue. Another huge thing is, a lot of you guys know I do play professionally in a band. I'm a professional musician and I have a working band out here. And I mean, gosh, we've even struggled to find time to be able to get to that in some instances as we're sitting here writing music between shows that we're playing. And it's like, gosh, that takes a lot of time. And that is like my #1 passion. Music is even more important to me than gaming and Nintendo as far as hobbies and passions go. And so I spend a lot of time outside of my work professional life also playing music. I also have the YouTube channel, which takes up time, by the way. It's like when I'm going to make a video, I need to have my 15 or 20 minutes just to record my talking, then my little bit of editing, then the rendering and uploading, and that takes time, and I'm making thumbnails, and I'm coming up with topics or following the news and researching it to make a video. A lot of times I have to be playing video games just to be able to do that, and that becomes really difficult as well. And then there's that other really important factor, which is a full-time relationship. That's obviously an immensely huge part of my life, and anyone who's in a very serious relationship with someone. And it should be noted, I mean, my girlfriend is not someone who's like anti-gaming or demands this crazy amount of attention that keeps me away from wanting to do things that I love. And in fact, she's an amazing partner because she supports all of that. She's into it herself. And she really is happy to just facilitate me being able to do a lot of these things, and I try to reciprocate that to her. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but we have a pretty healthy relationship in that way. So the problem isn't like, oh, I've got this high-maintenance, demanding, nagging partner, and she's always making me feel bad for wanting to play games on my free time. It's not that, but what happens is when you're in a relationship with someone that you care about, you want to spend time with that person, and that person still wants your time. And so you guys have to make decisions, maybe not to do some solo things you want to do because you want to do things together. It's putting in the time, it's putting in the effort and the work, just like it is with your job or with my music or whatever other hobbies or passions a lot of you guys have out there as well. It's an element where even if it's not being demanded on you, you still want to make the effort to say, well, I'm not going to spend all this time playing a video game or doing whatever because we should do something. We should go out for drinks, or we should watch a movie, or we should make dinner together. And, you know, do whatever the things. We should go hang out with our friends, which, by the way, I have a very busy social life and friend life as well. And so anyway, this part is getting a little bit long in the tooth. The point is, you get busy. I happen to be a busy person, so a huge part of my struggle with gaming is simply the fact that I don't have all the time in the world to be able to sit down with all of these games that are coming out, and there's like more great games coming out now than almost ever, it seems. And I don't have the time, the physical space within the day to be able to sit for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours and just power through a game. Inevitably, something else comes up and keeps me from doing that. Now, another really big part to this and why I'm struggling with playing video games nowadays is probably the bigger of the two. Not the more important, but I think it's the more affecting factor here. And it's the fact that I find myself not really able to sit for an extended period of time with the controller in my hand. I mean, I certainly do still once or twice a week, especially like on my days off or the weekends. I have one day off where my girlfriend actually works and I happen to be home. And like, that's a great time for me to really have the time to be able to sit and just be like, okay, I'm just going to turn on a game in the morning here and I can just play for as many hours as I want. I've got the next 8 hours completely free. But for some reason, a lot of times when I'm doing that, I can't keep my attention focused on sitting down to play a video game or a game experience, no matter what it is, with the rare recent exception I'll get into, for sometimes more than an hour, hour and a half. At some point, I feel like my body and my brain, as I'm getting older, is getting more wired to not be able to do that for a long time. I mean, I literally will start to play something I'm really excited to play, like Destiny 2 or Mario plus Rabbids or any other myriad games that have been coming out. And it's like, after an hour or so, it's like I almost start to get restless. And I almost start to feel weirdly guilty that I've been sitting around for so long just playing a game, which is weird because I've always been doing that. And I've never had problems with it, only until within the probably past year and a half or so. It's like I start to feel like, gosh, man, I've been sitting here doing this for almost 60 minutes, and my body and my brain start to tell me, you got to do something else. You have to do something else. Stop sitting here doing it. And it's not actual guilt. There's like a trickle of like a guilty feeling, but it's not so much actual guilt. I think it's just more my body starting to push me to go. It reminds me of another thing that keeps me very busy as well, which is exercise and working out. I do that several times a week. And so maybe what's happening is my body is starting to say, bro, you've been sitting on your ass for too long, man. You got to get up. You got to sweat. You got to move those limbs. You got to lift heavy things. You got to run. You have to do these things. Playing video games is great and all, but you're just sitting. And so, okay, now I have this other weird thing I have to combat, which is myself. It's my own stupid body and my own stupid brain saying, hey, keep having fun playing video games, but also don't do it for too long because I need to be stimulated in other ways. And it's weirdly frustrating because my soul is telling me I don't really care about that in the moment when I've got 5 hours to play a video game, especially a brand new game that I'm really into. Lately, I've been going through Fallout 4 again just randomly while I'm waiting for Mario. But in general, when like a brand new game comes out, it's like my soul is like, yeah, man, let's just sit for 5 hours in our underwear, grab a little drink, get some water, get some whatever, and let's just go through this game. You've got all this time. You don't have to be at work. You don't have to go to band rehearsal. You don't have to hang out with your girlfriend. She's at work. Just do the thing. Yet still, something physically is telling me, yeah, you're not into doing this for more than an hour, man. You got to put the controller down now, and you have to go keep yourself busy in some other way. And so it's just a weird struggle, and it's not a horrible thing. Luckily, I can find ways around this, and it's far from keeping me from playing video games. I still keep blowing my money on all these cool new things. I mean, I've been playing a lot of the SNES Classic lately, for example, as well. So it's not this huge thing, but it's just an interesting conundrum that I'm finding myself in, and it's hard to reconcile it when it's like, I know within my heart of hearts, I can't wait to sit down and play this game or this game or this game, but my brain and body start trying to kick me off the controller after a little bit, and it's like, wow, I find myself in my mid-30s not really able to sit for a long time and go through these marathon sessions of games, and so it's a really toxic combination of I don't have a lot of free time to play a lot of games for a long period of time, and my body keeps telling me not to do it for a very long period of time. And it's weird, man. I think that's all I can say is it's just weird. Now, a couple of things of note that actually are important to this. One is a specific game related to this whole issue, and it's Breath of the Wild. What is so great about Breath of the Wild, for me personally, just within Rob's life, of the many things that are absolutely amazing about Breath of the Wild, is that that game absolutely, for a short burst of time, for the 2 months it took me to complete it, absolutely shattered that problem I've had, because that was the first time in almost a year at the time that it came out that I didn't have this problem. Every single waking moment and every single free second I had where it wasn't going to be taking away from anything else I had to do, I had no problem sitting for hours and playing through Breath of the Wild, man. It's a testament, again, just through Rob's lens, just through my lens and my perspective, it's a testament to how good that game truly is, because I've been having this problem for many months, close to a year. Breath of the Wild came along and changed all of it, and it was like I felt like my old self again in a way when that was happening. It's like, yes, here's a game that's just so good and so immersive and so incredible and perfect that I can't stop playing it and I can't stop thinking about it. It felt like when a new amazing game like that came out 10 years ago, because that's the way I was when that would happen 10 years ago. And so Breath of the Wild has a very special place here because it's helped kind of remind me in the midst of this problem I'd been having. It helped remind me, yeah, you know, sometimes you do get so invested you can comfortably sit for 4 hours at a time and just have a marathon session of a game when you've got the free time. I still was busy when Breath of the Wild came out, but I was able to find those periods where I'd have a couple of hours at a time, and my body and brain had no problem letting me just sit around for hours and just run through Hyrule. The other interesting element here is the Nintendo Switch itself. And I feel like a lot of you guys, by the time you even get here, might have already run into the comments to start talking about this. What about the Switch? The cool thing about the Switch is that it's portable and it's on the go, and so maybe, hopefully, it's making it easier to play games more often. That's part of the breakthrough nature of the console. And that's 100% true. It's one of the best qualities of the console. It is the defining characteristic that does make it easier for a lot of busy people to play more often because they're too busy to do it at home. And that's great. However, that part of the Switch really doesn't factor into my life much. Partly because, again, the other problem I've had is really just the motivation to be able to play that often. To be able to play for a very long period of time. It's not so much like I don't have the time always. It's also just the ability to sit down and play for a long time and be interested in doing it. The other thing is, honestly, I might be weird here, but I get really nervous to take my Switch out of my house. I've got some friends, so many people I know, in real life and also through the YouTube community, will do that all the time. And they're taking it to work, or they're taking it on their commute, or they're bringing it over to their friend's house all the time. And that's great. I've done it a few times, but I still get really nervous to do it. Also, I'm not going to lie, I'm not really someone who needs the short burst of gaming. Like, when I've got some free time or I'm on my lunch break at work, I'm at work, so I don't want to pop my Switch on, because then it'll just make me think, boy, I wish I was home instead of at work. I wish I was home with this game on my TV. Or I was just home so that I could play this for as long as I do want, and when I'm done, I don't have to go back to working, because working sucks. That's no fun. So I haven't really fit the portable nature of the Switch into my life much. For me, the portable nature of the Switch is great, because what it does do is it lets me go into our living room and play while maybe my girlfriend's doing something else, or we just put on a show and I can just play on the couch, or I play in bed. And that is incredible. That is a game changer for me, but it's not like an out-of-the-house game changer. I'm not taking my Switch out into the world with me. So while that would help with a lot of people, it's not something that really helps with me and my specific problem. But in wrapping this up, there's another X factor happening in less than 24 hours, and that is Super Mario Odyssey. So for all the reasons, I'm obviously excited for Odyssey, because we know it's going to be absolutely incredible, and the Metacritic is at 97, and we know it's going to be the most amazing thing. Another reason I'm excited for it is I'm hoping it can be what Breath of the Wild was for me earlier this year, where this weird issue I have of, again, not the time. I can't make time I don't have. But as far as motivated to marathon through a game for hours at a time, I'm hoping it can break that mold the same way Breath of the Wild did. And there's very few companies that I think can do what Nintendo does with their games. And, you know, Nintendo did it this year with Zelda. I think that they're hopefully going to do it again with Mario. And it'll be really interesting to see what happens there. I really just can't wait to get the game regardless. I will spend time tomorrow night and Saturday and Sunday playing it. But I'm also pretty busy. I'm kind of packed on Saturday, and Sunday might turn out to be busy as well. So again, even on my weekends, I've got so many things to do. I don't just wake up and have 10 completely free hours to just be able to play video games and play Mario Odyssey. I'll still be squeezing it between some other things within my schedule. But you know, it's all good. You know, this wasn't about complaining. It was more just about sort of just riffing about what's going on, and just my perspective and what life does, and how life changes, and how you maybe change, and the weird conundrum I'm in where I'm finding it harder to play a lot of games for a long period of time, but not because I love them any less or I'm less interested. My soul says yes, my body and my schedule says hell no, and that's a weird thing to deal with. So hey, we'll see if Super Mario Odyssey changes that this weekend, just like Zelda did earlier this year. But, you know, reminder, I still love games just as much as ever, man. And I'm still playing. Every week, I am sitting down many times to be playing through games. I've beaten multiple games this year. I'm still going through Destiny 2 and Mario plus Rabbids, like I brought up earlier. And these are great games. So, gaming is great. The quality of games, the release structure of all these amazing things coming out. Nintendo's killing it. The Switch is amazing. So that part's not my issue. It's just all the other stuff I talked about. So what I want to hear from you guys is if any of you can relate to this. Does this resonate with any of you? Do you have similar problems or similar feelings? Again, there's two, I'm hitting my microphone. There's two real ideas here. One is schedule makes it hard to play. The other is I can't be motivated to play for more than an hour at a time. And they're weird issues. Let me know if either of these make sense to you, or maybe both of them, or do you have different things that get in the way of your gaming time? Maybe you're, like I mentioned earlier, someone who's just, as you get older, are just finding yourself less interested in video games. That's totally okay. You know, and whatever your situation is, share it below. I want to hear you guys talk about it. I think this is it's a really fun thing to discuss, even though it's not like a positive, happy-go-lucky video. I think it's really interesting and fun to talk about. So that's it. Regardless, make no mistake, stoked for Odyssey tomorrow. What do you guys think about this crazy weird problem that I'm kind of BSing to you guys about? Share your similar issues below if you have any. And I think that's it for now. So everyone, I hope, is enjoying Mario Odyssey by the time you're watching this video. And thanks for tuning in. This is Rob Overlooked to Review, and I will catch you next time on another video.